What's happening, people? Welcome back. Surprise, I'm here this soon after my 2-week hiatus. I got inspired. I get inspired. I feed off of your guys' energy, comments, the messages that you sent to me. Got a lot of people I got to respond to, and there's some things that I want to talk about tonight, and I want to do it before the earnings call. So I'm going to do like a monologue, share some stories, share some show and tells, and read a couple comments. I haven't even read all the comments on yesterday's video, and a big shout out to all of you, because I don't do this for the money. I don't do this for the notoriety. I do it because it's important to not feel alone in whatever journey that we are on in this reselling gig that we've got going. So I've got a bomb to drop later. I think it's a bomb. We'll see if it's a bomb. Maybe it's one of those little firecrackers that you pull. Remember those things that when you were little, you pull and they'd pop? Or you throw them on the... Wait, was it? Maybe I'm getting confused with the things that you throw in the ground and they pop. I think I'm getting it confused. So, yes. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. If any of you are Soprano fans out there, I recently finished the Lilyhammer series. It has, I think Sal was his name, from The Sopranos, the Van Zandt guy, the guitarist for the Bruce Springsteen band. Excellent show. I don't know why I was so resistant to watch that show for so many years, because I was a huge Soprano fan. I watched Sopranos on Netflix back when they sent you the DVDs. Back in like 2001, I believe, is when I watched. I think it was that. Anyhow, the Lilyhammer, it has nothing to do with Sopranos, but Sal is in it, and he kind of has the same role. I mean, he's the same exact character. And there's some fan theories about how it's connected to The Sopranos, but I don't want to give anything away. It's not really giving anything away, but it's excellent. It is an excellent show. I enjoyed all 3 seasons of it. Yeah, it's kind of like, how did I compare it? It's kind of like The Sopranos meets Fargo in a way. Which I never watched Fargo the series, but I watched Fargo the movie, and yeah. So anyhow, where do I want to start? I'm gonna start with this. I went to there was a thrift store that was having a 50% off sale today, and I bought a bunch of stuff, super cheap. And then I went back. I don't know why. I was like, I'm just going to go back and check out the media section and see if I find anything. And I find this. Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? #1. And it's actually in pretty good condition. It's probably a VF, which is an 8.0. It's got some spine ticks, some spine creases, but these books are notoriously beat up because they're kids' books. And one of these sold for $80 in March. Let's check the condition. It's 9.4. So a 9.4 sold for 80. I mean, I expect this to sell anywhere between 30 and 50. But the funny thing is I take it up to the counter, and I'm expecting it to be like maybe $1 or $2. I mean, because things at this particular thrift store are dirt cheap, and it was 50% off everything. I take it up there. They ring it up as a magazine, which is a quarter, and then then it's half of that. So I paid 12 cents Canadian, which is like 9 cents. It's like a dime, less than a dime American for this. So that's a bit of a win. But any early Scooby-Doo issues, and another tip is the Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog comics. If you ever come across any of those in decent condition, they're a buy. There's a huge Sonic the Hedgehog fan base out there. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. And then the other thing I wanted to tell you guys about is, I know that I've talked in the past about the importance of, and this is for those of you who live in areas where local sales are realistic, I guess is the best way to say it. Like, not some people live in remote areas, or they don't feel comfortable doing local sales. If you live in a larger area, I feel that those are the areas where you have the best shot, 'cause you've got, people, a large amount of people. I started building a list of contacts over, because I was forced to. I was forced to view and change my business away from eBay exclusively to basically listing so many different items now local that I never would have listed local had eBay not made the changes that they made in their algorithm. And yeah, I'll get to that in a little bit. But anyhow, so somebody had bought some Karobi. So it's this character right here. Think the same fan base as people who like Hello Kitty, but people who like this little bugger right there. And his name's actually Karobi, but most people just say Karobi. Well, I don't know what most people do, but anyhow, this is from 1993, and it's in really good condition. It's just a little bag. You might see this and you might not think there's any value to it. I paid $1, like $1.25 for it, and I got a guy who buys these things, and I have his email. He's a part of my list, my physical list of people that I met local, and I keep track of what they're interested in. And I shot him a text with some pictures, and I said, "Hey, I got this. Are you interested?" Because I always give them first crack, $25 right there. It's never going to see the light of day on eBay. It's never going to see the light of day on eBay, and I feel great about that, but it's also sad. It's sad because this is the exact kind of item. This is the exact kind of item that eBay is. Like, eBay is in an identity crisis right now. They think, I don't know what they think, to be honest with you. I do not know what they think. But this kind of item, in my opinion, vintage, cool, unique, trying to fight that glare. I don't know where someone else is going to find a little pouch, shoulder bag from 1993. I don't know. I mean, you're gonna have to get lucky if you want it. Like, most Karobi fans probably don't even know this exists. And I'm probably giving the guy a deal, to be honest with you, but he's been a good customer, and that's okay, because I'm not paying eBay fees on it. So yeah, it's a good thing to network and to keep your own little list and database of people who your customers. And when you're out shopping, thrifting, garage sailing, you look through the lens of your customers, and you can be like, oh, I know so-and-so wants this. I mean, and heck, and even if you want to, I mean, you can even take a picture of it and send it to them. And, if you're that organized and you have access to all that information quickly, sometimes you can even have a buyer before you even bought it. All right, so I was just getting caught up in a few comments because I was trying to find this one comment that I wanted to read. You guys are just seriously the best. The best. I know every creator out there feels like their that's just stupid. Their viewers. The people who view the random, mindless sputterings that I spew out. The people who tune in, I just Yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. And one other thought I wanted to come back to about that Karobi bag is, and this is a problem that is going to affect the platform, the eBay platform, in my opinion, is because items like that, again, that is eBay. And as those items aren't on the platform, well, the buyers for those kinds of items, and maybe they'll be on there, and maybe this is me making a bigger problem or a bigger situation out of this than it really is. But as people cross-list and the items that are taken down from eBay, or as people sell things local, and those cool items are not being put on eBay because we can't trust the algorithm to give us sales, I guess. I mean, and I'm gonna talk about that. The idea of eBay giving us sales, it's the worst, in my opinion. It's the worst way that we can describe what we do. I have never in my life ever thought, prior to April 1st of last year, I have never thought to myself, I'm entitled to this amount of sales, or I need to do things so eBay will give me sales. eBay does not give us sales. They connect buyers and sellers, and I guess in my mind, I've always thought, again, prior to April, that it was a more organic, it was a more need-based system. I'm a buyer. I suddenly need to have a black Aloha pineapple trucker hat that has the Hawaiian Islands on it, that is from the company, man, I can't even read that, Island something. I'm a buyer. I need to have this hat. I saw somebody at the mall wearing it. Where else are you going to go? You're going to go to eBay. And you expect, when you type in, whatever you type in, Hawaii, Aloha, black trucker hat. Let's do that right now. Let's see what we get. I haven't listed this yet, so I don't know. Sometimes, all right, Hawaii, no, I'm just going to say Aloha, pineapple. Pineapple always confuses me when I spell it. Pineapple, black, trucker, hat. Oh my goodness. It literally gives me, it has been so long since I've seen something. It literally gives me they're all Aloha, black, and there's a few other colors in here. Wow. Maybe the search is fixed, guys, because it is literally giving me everything that I asked for. That's awesome. You heard it here. The search is fixed. Okay, let me go back to the comment that I... Prove me wrong. Hey, you know what? If search was fixed, I'd love to be wrong. Okay, so I got a comment last night, and it's from the oldest millennial. I do believe he's commented on here before. I don't take I don't take this poorly. I think I want to use this as an opportunity to kind of maybe clarify myself. Please don't take this comment as bashing you or those who think like you. Merely my hope that you can perceive things in a slightly different way. Sorry, Jeff. Maybe I am in the minority in your channel, and most people like to bag on eBay and say it's eBay's fault. I cannot make the same sales I made last year. But at the end of the day, someone will always be making sales, and you are saying they are making sales because eBay sees their YouTube channels and giving them sales. I don't have a YouTube channel, and I'm doing pretty well on eBay selling clothing, but there are other clothing sellers doing far better than I. I view their stores every day just to find little changes I can make to improve. That's how you grow and compete. Totally agree. All of that. Does eBay have problems with glitches and the like? Sure. but what site doesn't? And you know what? I don't actually have problem. I mean, I know I joke. I know I joke about the glitches, but I don't have a problem with the glitches either. Like, I have never really been, that I know of, super affected by glitches. It's never been, I mean, and so if everything else worked, like search, visibility, if things worked the way they worked prior to April of last year, glitches are the last of my worry. Really, they really are. Okay, sure, but what site doesn't? I was watching Polish Priest's last video, and he was dead on when he said, stop complaining and work on your business. eBay doesn't owe you anything. You literally say in this video, eBay took away sales you were making last year, or somehow eBay owes you X amount of sales. That's ridiculous. I agree. I still agree. eBay only cares about eBay. Totally agree. Like, agree to the utmost. If you both make money, cool. What's that from? What pop culture reference is that from? But if eBay can make more money with someone else instead of you because they have better stuff or cheaper stuff, why shouldn't they favor the other person? Basically, eBay doesn't owe you, me, or anyone else anything, and they can run their platform how they want. Agreed. I agree with all of that. If you want to open your own online platform, you can run it however you want, and that would be your prerogative. I'm not bashing you. I just wish that you and others would realize all the complaints about eBay hurting your sales is time wasted and would be better spent all that time improving your store and finding new ways of making sales, because eBay doesn't owe you anything. I agree with all of that completely. We are on the same page, my friend. And it's my fault because I said eBay took away my sales, without really kind of clarifying what that means. And I want to take the time right now to explain what I mean, because it's important for misunderstandings like this. All right. I've been selling for 11 years. Well, no, not 11. I've been selling since 2011. I've been selling for 13 years. Jack's been selling for 25 years on eBay. James has been selling for 22 years on eBay. You know, there's a number of sellers out there who have long track records out there. And there's a lot of newer sellers out there who have been on the platform for a couple years, and they have a smaller track record, but everyone still knows what each person's store kind of runs at, the capacity that it runs at. Sometime last spring, we all collectively woke up, started noticing changes in our sales and our visibility in every aspect of our eBay business. eBay didn't take away my sales. They took away our visibility on the platform. All right. And without visibility, you can't get sales. So let me redact what I said in the video when I said eBay took away my sales. eBay took away every single eBay seller's visibility through whatever they did. Whatever they did. You cannot deny that. So if you want to leave a follow-up comment, because this is me responding to your comment. And we cannot get that same visibility back. In fact, I would go a step further to say that there's no rhyme or reason that explains what happens on eBay. Let me give you an example. Yesterday, so I've got two stores, for new people watching, I've got my store and I got Maria's store. That's kind of how I classify them. Yesterday on my store, I did $378 on my store, and I did $6 on Maria's store, and then I did 50 local, of which that was a Taekwondo gi that I had on eBay for over a year, and then I listed it on Marketplace, and I had some lowball offers. I had somebody offer me $10 for this brand new, beautiful, still sealed Taekwondo thing. I actually countered at 35 because I had it priced probably too high to begin with, but sometimes I don't exactly know, and sometimes it's a unique item and you don't really know, so you kind of like start high, come down, and then he like was like, no, I can't do any more than 10. And then so I brought my price down to 45 because I'm like, I'm not going to deal with this guy. And then somebody yesterday, while I was making the video, messaged me, and he just came and gave me $50 for it. He was so ecstatic. He was so happy. He's like, brother, he's like, you saved me. Like, apparently he was just in a situation where he needed a gi for today. And to me, that is why I enjoy that aspect of selling. All right, what was I doing here? All right. So, yesterday, $378, give or take $10, I can't remember exactly. On Maria's store, $6. Today, on my store, I don't think I have a sale on my store today. Not unless I've got one since I started this video. Yeah, 0. Nothing. Yesterday, my items were desirable. Today, not so much. In fact, yesterday was like the best day that I've had. I'm going to talk about my store in the next video because there's something that's I have some interesting thoughts, but I need to keep this focused. I have way more than I thought I needed to talk about. But yesterday was yesterday was almost the biggest day that I've had times 2. So it's like like all my other days were around this level. Let's say the bar was this big. Yesterday the bar was this big. Am I getting no sales today because I had such a massive day yesterday relative to what the sales that eBay's been giving me? I think that's going to be a joke for a while. So I'm not surprised that I didn't make any sales on today. And that is unnatural. That is an unnatural, manipulated, in my opinion, that's eBay manipulating the sales. They're like, I mean, and I'm not the only one who thinks that. Like, I hear that time and time and time again from different YouTube resellers out there, how they had a big day, and then they kind of, it's like you expect nothing. And that, again, I never thought of eBay like that prior to April 1st. I never ever once made that connection or was in that conspiracy theory camp. It was always just keep listing, right? I've talked about in some of my earlier videos, that was always my mentality. Like, be like Dory, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep listing. And you just keep putting stuff up, keep building, keep getting those hooks in the line. It's inevitable. It's inevitable you're going to get sales. Well, nothing is inevitable because today my store is at 0 and Maria's store had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sales today after having 1 sale yesterday for $6. Again, these are not natural, and yeah, once in a while a strange pattern can emerge like that, or not even a pattern, a strange day, like, but this is consistent. Like, things like this, it is uncanny how consistent the inconsistencies are. Okay, so when I say, again, let me just clarify. When I say eBay took away our sales, that's really, that's not the best way to explain it. They took away our visibility. Now, let me get to something. Jack and I talk daily. We throw ideas, we talk, we commiserate, and you know, we strategize and everything. And I hear Maria talking. She must be FaceTiming with our little grandbaby. So because it sounds like a little, she's doing baby talk upstairs, and I'm not up there. Sorry, I couldn't resist. Okay, what am I doing? All right, so Jack and I, literally just the other day, we were thinking, you know what? Maybe, just maybe, what is happening on the platform is something that even eBay could not possibly want, right? They couldn't possibly want to annoy and piss off as many sellers as they are, and getting them to cross-list, you know, leaving the platform. They can't possibly want all of these sellers to have, you know, 20, 30, 50, in some cases 70% income drops in their sale. They can't possibly want this. They're an e-commerce platform, right? They make money when things sell. Their goal is to sell things. So maybe what's happening is a total, you know, error. AI gone wrong. Software, I don't know, something, you know, it's a combination of, you know, all these programmers leaving and leaving, like, the platform, the infrastructure in a mess, and search is not right, and they don't know how to fix it, and promoted listings is not really working, you know, like, it's just not jiving the way we're trying to get eBay off the hook. And I'm not making excuses for eBay. I'm just, common sense tells me they can't possibly want this, can they? Well, Motorcycle Dork found something tonight. I want to give props to him because he was the one who found this. And he sent it to me, and another person sent it to me who he had sent to. I'm going to read it to you. So this was on eBay for Business. And it's by a gentleman. You know, this is public knowledge. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you guys. All right. Just so you don't think I'm making this up. eBay for Business, Adam Wareham says, eBay logic, my sales this time every year has been around 10 to 14,000 a day. For the last 15 years, except this year, it's now 3,000 a day. We are an anchor store, top rated, and promote 80,000 listings every day. They, I'm assuming they mean eBay, tell me if I want that kind of sales back, they want more advanced promotions. So you lost the final value fees for $10,000 a day, which is roughly $1,500, and want me to pay $400 a day in listing upgrades. Amazon doesn't ask us for any of this stuff, and I sell 10 to 1. I don't know. To me, that almost corroborates so many of our theories that essentially Sal is running eBay and wants more extortion money. That's, to me, that's what that says. Now, I didn't see this on eBay for Business, but this looks like a legitimate screenshot to me. I trust Motorcycle Dork. And this totally flies in the face of what, you know, Jack and I were just trying to, like, talk it out and, like, be like, okay, you know, what is going on here? How? because his sales are really getting hammered. But I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys make of this? Like, to me, number one, that's pretty impressive sales. 80,000 listings, but I mean that's only 25,000 more than James. That's only 72,000 more than mine. But yeah, I mean that's pretty wild. That's pretty wild. All right, before I pause the video and take a look at the stocks on my own, there's two little pieces of information I wanted to pass on. Again, Jack and I were talking, and he was talking about how his store fee was coming due, and he was talking about how it's X amount a month, and I can't remember what he said it was. I think he said it was like $75 a month, and I'm like, mine's only $60 a month. Why is yours whatever it was? Now, okay, this is common sense, and I'm only sharing this with you guys for those of you who don't know. I'm sure the majority of you do, but Jack didn't know, or he didn't realize. He thought when he signed up for a store that to get the discount, if you kind of sign up for the year, that you had to prepay all of that money in advance. So you would have had to pay your $600 store fee times, your $60 store fee times 12. And so it would have been like, what, $720 a year? And he didn't realize that you could sign up, enter into like a contract that says, okay, I'm going to commit to a year, and then you get that $60 monthly store fee. So here he's been paying whatever he's been paying, like $70, $75 a month, blah, blah, blah. So my point in telling this is if there's anybody out there who misunderstood the terms of that contract and are doing month to month, even though they know they are going to be with eBay for at least the next year. So then you can go and you can, save a little bit of money each month and sign up for that. So I was teasing Jack that I was going to use him as an example, set an example of him. But if anyone else can benefit from that, awesome. And then the other thing that and I've mentioned this in the past, but there's new people, or it's worth repeating. What I do is, yes, I do still use some promoted listings at a very low reduced rate. I'm not proud of it. I hate it. But the one thing that I am starting to do is when I have an item that is so unique, or I feel is unique, or has a high sell-through rate that I do not want to pay any kind of promoted listings on, they don't have an easy way to exclude listings from, if you do like promoted listings for your entire store. They don't really have an easy way to exclude listings. So here's what I do. And feel free to use this. And if anybody else knows an easier way to, just consistently pick and choose which items that you don't care if they get promoted or that you absolutely don't want to, is I create a store category. I call it No Pro. And the items that I absolutely, so for example, that Scooby-Doo book, that's not going to ever get promoted. I don't want to. Comic people are pretty good at finding what they want. Like, they know exactly what they want. They know the grade, they know the issue, they know the variant, the newsstand, whether it's, they know, and they know how to search for that. So, but I create a category called No Pro, and then when I do run a campaign, I select the entire store, but then I deselect that category. Now, yes, I know that I'm sacrificing some of the organizational skills of my store. Like, obviously, I would like all my comics to be in a comic category. But we got to do what makes sense for our bottom line. And I don't really care about the organization of my store when it comes down to whether or not I'm going to be paying an extra whatever percent, 3-4% that I'm doing or playing around with. I don't want to give any extra money that I don't have to when I have an item that is unique, or it's a certain grade, or there's something special about it, or there's just not that many out there. Yeah. So that's what I do. Hopefully that's a tip that you didn't know, or you did know, or you forgot, and then it's something you wanted to implement into your own strategies. So yeah. All right. Before I get into the charts, and I still haven't even looked at them yet, I do just want to give just a small update on the sales, because I did get another sale on Maria's store, which is it's so funny. And I think I said I had 5 or 6 sales and then add one more. And there was another sale that an offer that I had to end the listing because I couldn't find it. I feel like it's sold, but I'm not 100% sure. It's one of those weird things where I recently maybe had an offer and then I countered and then they didn't accept. And so in my mind, I'm thinking maybe it's sold. But all right, so Maria's store down 2.4% year over year. I like to, I like to go that way. I like to compare it year over year. And there are a lot of lower priced items on this store. It's down 2.4%. And so there's not that much of a discrepancy. I must be promoting less on this store. And then you can see today quite a bit bigger, but her store has been woefully underperforming. There have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 0 days. But actually that's not entirely true. For some reason, her store is divided it has Canadian and US listings. It's very weird. So there's actually listings that you're not, the Canadian side, this is the US side, the Canadian side has a whole different chart too. But it is underperforming. And I have a theory as to why. I just need a little bit more data. So that's going to be for a future video, of which I have many ideas of different future videos that I want to do. My store, it has been a struggle to get just to positive territory. This year started out horrible. January was a disaster. I feel like I was down 30 to 40% by the end of January, year over year. I mean, when you compare January of this year to January of last year. Finally, after that big sale that I had the other day on that calculator, got back to the green. Let me show you. You can see here, this was the big day. Basically since the mid-April, things have picked up, although these 2 days were just absolute duds. But I mean, look, if you see your bar graph like this, it's almost like you expect a 0 sales day, which is, in my opinion, is disgusting that is the way that things are in terms of an e-commerce platform. Let me just say that. It is disgusting that we even speculate that that's an issue. It's like, oh, you can't make that much. I mean, that is socialism, kind of. So anyhow, let me pause this now. I'm going to do some stock analysis and see if there's anything that I feel is worthy to bring to you guys. All right, let's take a look at a few things. Dang, I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. So to recap, my store is essentially flat for the year, and Maria's store is a little bit down, but local sales are booming right now for me. And so, it feels good. Let's just say that. It feels good that if you're not going to get the sales that you are used to, accustomed to, know that you should be getting based on your historical data, it's nice to know that there are other platforms out there, Craigslist, Marketplace, Carrot, other ones out there that the organic is alive. It's alive. Okay, so let's start. We're gonna look at eBay, Spotify, PDD, which is the parent company of Temu, Amazon, and Etsy. But we're going to start with the general markets because everything starts with the general markets. And this is a monthly chart. It's a 20-year monthly chart because what I want to kind of point out here is we have not had a serious correction since the 2008 correction. And in my opinion, this rally is running out of steam. It is significantly running out of steam. This is the longest bull market in history that we have had without a correction. And that is worrisome to me because we all talk about the economy and we all talk about the impact of our buyers' finances and their ability to purchase from us. But honestly, we haven't seen anything. Like, people are still spending money because the proverbial crap has not hit the fan in the economy yet. Yeah, inflation is bad, but things could be so much worse. When the middle and the upper class, when there's a massive correction that is happening and they're opening their 401ks and they're seeing significant drawbacks in their perceived wealth, and they start cutting back on buying, that's a big problem, because if they're thinking about cutting back, then that means the ordinary average lower to middle upper class, they're really going to be tightening their purse strings. So to me, this is not. Let's just say if you were new to investing and you had $100,000, I wouldn't be putting it in the stock market right now. I would be waiting for a significant drawdown, pullback in the stock market. So that is a concern because 75% of the stocks go with the general market. But that's not always the case, as you're going to see. Like if you think about what has happened in the general market, and then you look at eBay. eBay is not hitting new highs. It's in a precarious situation right now. It's basically held the gains from the last earnings report. And I'll take a look at a smaller time frame, but I want to go through the all of those 5 charts on the weekly chart, just to kind of get a bird's eye view of where each chart is in relationship to each other, so you can see. So the Dow, very strong chart, but a lot of these e-commerce stocks are not mirroring the Dow's ascent, I guess is the best way to see it. But overall, basically eBay, the stock, has held the gains from the last earnings report. That is mildly bullish. And you can see here, it's held within this support range. To be honest with you, it could go either way at this point tomorrow. It's really going to depend on, it's probably going to depend more on the guidance that they give or the feeling of where eBay's earnings are going to be heading in the next 2 to 3 quarters. It's probably not going to be so much about how well they did in promoted listings, because let's face it, they're going to make money on promoted listings. GMV is probably going to be neutral, maybe neutral to down, to be honest with you. But promoted listings will show an increase. It will most likely increase more. I'll give a number. I need to look at my chart to see where we were at in promoted listings last quarter. I'll throw out a obligatory guess as to where I think the promoted earnings will be. And but yeah, so let's go to Amazon. Amazon, it has rallied back to highs, and I believe this move was an earnings related move, but it's also, I mean, it's come a long way. It's basically tripled over the last year and a half. So I'm not surprised to see it stall here. PDD, nice looking chart here. Nice looking chart. It had this phenomenal run, insane run, to be honest with you, going from 20 to 210. That's speculation at its finest. Now, it's corrected, it's rallied, but it's rallied in a sensible way, meaning rally, absorb gains, rally new highs, absorb a series of higher highs and higher lows, and it's getting back there. This is a pretty decent looking chart. Etsy is a disaster. This chart is just languishing. They need to do something. Like this is a very bearish chart. I mean, we're looking at, let me look at something here. I want to look at more time frame. Yeah, this thing is in a world of hurt, because what you got to consider, I mean, this is another nuts run from 2020. It went from 20 all the way to 310, and then it's basically just collapsed. So you got to realize there are so many people that bought in above where it's at, that any rally that this stock has, the people who bought, they're going to be looking to exit. So it is going to face a ton of overhead resistance. Shopify, same kind of thing. It's like a cross between Etsy and PDD in terms of, like, it's off its highs. It's kind of rally. It's kind of got like some rallies and pullbacks. It's kind of doing it in a sensible way. But it's not as demolished as Etsy is. It's looking a little like this, but it's got a ways to go. All right, so I'm going to ask you a question. I'm going to go through the 5 stocks: eBay, Amazon, PDD, Etsy, Shopify. Which one of these 5 would you say is the most bullish chart? Meaning it has the most chances to outperform over the next 6 months to a year. Again, speculation is wonderful. It really is. I really do miss trading. I want to get back into it at some point in time, but I need to feel better about the general markets. Now, all right, so I would say that the two most bullish charts here, in my opinion, looking at it purely from a technical analysis standpoint, would be PDD, which is nuts when you think about it, and Amazon. But Amazon, I would say between Amazon and PDD, I actually like this chart more for the potential to outperform, because Amazon is right at all-time highs. I'm almost certain this is all-time highs, because I think it's just split. And yeah, I mean, this is a 20-year chart. This is just nuts. So it's at all-time highs. People are probably going to be taking profits on this, but there's no resistance to. So that's the other thing that you gotta factor in. Sorry, that's a daily chart. So Amazon looks good, but it's also overbought. Whereas PDD they're doing a lot of things right. Although there's a lot of there's a lot of question marks about that company, but they're, you know, there's no doubt that they're trying to just advertise their way right into the Western culture psyche. And, you know, we do know that advertising works. Quiznos, Subway. Which one has the superior sub? In my opinion, hands down, it's Quiznos. Like, you go to Quiznos, you have one of their subs. They are so much better than Subway. But Subway is killing them in market share because they advertise. eBay, are you listening? So yeah, I mean, in my opinion, the most bullish chart out of these 5 is PDD in terms of what I think, where in 6 months, if you were to take $5,000 and put in each of these, I think PDD would probably yield the most in 6 to 12 months. And Amazon would probably be your next bet, only because Amazon hasn't had a pullback, and they're probably gonna go sideways for the next 6 to 8 months. Whereas I think PDD actually has a lot of room to kind of climb back up into this 150 range and potentially work its way back up to the high. eBay could. This would probably be number 3, but maybe there's actually probably more potential here. Now that I'm thinking about it, there might be more potential here than Amazon. It's a little similar to PDD, although PDD has been it's moved incrementally higher, where eBay is still kind of stuck in a range. I could see a scenario tomorrow where we rally on the news, or we start to fall back into this 46 to 47 range. And if we fall back into this, range, I think that's not going to be a good sign for eBay. And then, and again, it could just be that the economy in general tanks, and they pull down a lot of these e-commerce stocks as well. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. And let me just turn this around so I can say a proper goodbye. All right, so I'm going to read a couple really small comments, and then I'm going to go over the rest of the comments and maybe add those to the next video if there's anything in there worth talking about. Number 1, Cheddar Tree says, complaining about eBay while using that tool to work out the knot in your back is YouTube gold. I love that comment. I couldn't stop laughing. I shared that with Maria. She got a great chuckle out of that, so thanks. Like, that's me, man. I'm a multitasker. I'm like Larry David sometimes. Popular Pulp says, I am just as disgusted as you. I've invested so much money into my business last year only to have my sales cut in half instead of doubling. I mean, at this point, I'd be happy if they were, I would be happy if the trajectory that I was on continued. That's all. Like, I'm not the kind of person who wants any, like, I've never had anything handed to me, ever. I've had to work. I had to work when I was in high school. I couldn't do sports when I was in high school because I had to have a job, because I had to pay for my car insurance. And yeah, my parents didn't have money. So how is it every CEO they get is worse than the last, even though the bar is so low? Yeah, no comment. And then eBay seller exposed, who I'm not familiar with him. He seemed to think that I had deleted a comment. And I just wanted to say that if I try not to delete comments, I really do. It's really reserved for people who kind of like say something so dumb or come after me in a way. And then generally what I try to do is I try to respond to it. And then if they don't respond to my response, then that tells me that they're either not interested in an intelligent conversation, and I don't need to have them on my channel, because if they've said something that's kind of annoyed me, but then if I engage and I try to, you know, establish, you know, an interaction with them, and if they don't feel it's worthy enough to respond to my response, then they're not really welcome here. So if you've had a comment deleted, but you are still able to comment on the channel, then it wasn't me who deleted it. Because if I delete the comment, I'm blocking you, right? I really try to refrain from, or Maria has, sometimes Maria will do it. But I really try to make this area a safe space for everybody. A pet peeve of mine is when creators try to control the narrative, and anybody who disagrees with them or comes at them with intelligent conversation and they just delete it. I have zero respect for people like that. And if you're watching, you're a content creator, and you do that, you know who you are. So I'm gonna try. I messaged Primo tonight, but it was late. I'm sure he was in dreamland, probably having nightmares about mice. Oh man, that was horrible. That story he told the other day. Yeah, so I'm gonna try to be on his show at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10 a.m. my time. But I can't stay long. I can only be on like 45 minutes or an hour. I've got to return. I got to meet up with a pressing customer. Another thing that I do is I do press work for local comic dealers, if you don't know. So with that being said, guys, if you're still with me here, thanks for watching the entire show. Do all the things to feed that YouTube algorithm, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Appreciate each and every one of you guys. You are my inspiration. As soon as I thought that, I thought, oh my goodness, that sounds so corny. But yeah. I really appreciate all of you guys. Take care. Bye.